Hello, and welcome to the Social Psychic Radio Show, featuring Jason Zook. In uncertain times, we must change our focus and priorities. This show will highlight social justice issues with the goal of expanding minds and increasing unity, love, and mutual respect for ourselves and our planet. We support the Black Lives Matter movement. Our show aspires to promote social spirituality, which simply means that by coming together, we can solve any of our problems, including the goal of bringing an end to all forms of hate, discrimination, bias, or oppression. We must protect our environment, reform our criminal justice system, and protect every citizen from police brutality. When we come together, it becomes possible to bridge the gaps that plague our society and divide us from within. We the people means everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Social Psychic Radio Show. This is Jason Zook. It's with great pleasure I have the opportunity of presenting special guest, Reverend Milagros Millie Reynoso, owner of Milagros Wellness Sanctuary. Millie is an intuitive Reiki healer, ordained minister in soul evolution, certified sound therapist, and spiritual coach. She's also a licensed clinical esthetician. Milagros Wellness Sanctuary sells all types of therapeutic sound tools, crystals, and metaphysical items. It's with such great pleasure that I have the opportunity of presenting Millie to the show today. She's a personal friend of mine. I have known her since the very first day I started giving public psychic readings. And I will share this with our audience. If I recall correctly, Millie was one of my first clients who I read for professionally. So there's a lot here. We're not just going to do a sound therapy session today. We're reconnecting with someone from the past who's also on a spiritual journey that's special and important. It's such great pleasure to have you on the show, Millie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am first and foremost, I am so proud of you. And I remember that first day and you brought out my grandmother to the T. And so now, because of you, I now invite my grandmother into the healing sessions because she wanted to be part of it. But of course, she can't be part of it unless I give her permission. And it's because of you helping me and assisting me during the healing sessions. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Millie. And we met through Megan Kane.
Yes.
One of my best friends and one of your close friends. And we're all in the little circle in Seminole Heights, Tampa, Florida. And I love the fact that we have our own spiritual connections in the way we do. And the first thing I want to ask you is, how have you been doing and holding up through the past year or so? I know you haven't been on the show in a while, and I want to see if you could share with our audience what you've been up to and how you've been managing through these challenging, unsettling times that we've been living through.
Well, believe it or not, I have been very well grounded. And I think it's because within the last year and prior to the pandemic, I was going through my own challenges. And a lot of times the universe, God, goddess, your spirit guides, however you want to call them, a lot of times they prepare you to hold space for other people. So I went through years of challenges, physical challenges, emotional challenges. And finally, when the dust settled and I didn't have those challenges, bam, the pandemic hit. And I was fine personally, but there was a lot of people that they were forced to really face themselves with a capital S. So they were forced, because think about it, the 20s was all about following your heart. And a lot of people struggled with that. And so I came into the picture to kind of help hold space for them. And, I guess I had to really go through some of my challenges and kind of process all those things. So that way I, in turn, can help others process. Because if I'm a hot mess, I can't help other people who's a hot mess. So it doesn't like that.
I love having you on the show right now. I was just thinking back to the fact that when we started talking several years ago, we noticed some unique synchronicities in our lives. And one of those is that you grew up around the same area. I grew up around the same time that we had different years apart in that area, but you're originally from New York.
Yes.
And tell our audience a little about that. I know your mom and you guys lived is it Manhattan you lived in? Or?
Yeah, in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. So that's like downtown Manhattan, close to the Brooklyn Bridge. And I lived there all my life up until Well, technically speaking, I lived in New York because I moved to different areas of New York until I moved to Florida in February 2005.
Okay.
And we lived a year in New Jersey, and then from there came to Florida. 5.
Where in Jersey did you live? Because I know that was close to where I grew up. I remember the synchronicity.
I lived in Clifton.
That's where my mom lived for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah. Right off of Highland. It's funny because my practice is off of Highland Avenue, and where I lived was off of Highland Avenue.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Millie, how did you first start on your spiritual journey? What prepared you to go on your journey that you've been on ever since?
Oh, it started in my mother's belly. My mother and my family, they were very spiritual. And my name is Milagros, which is miracle, because it was not certain if I would survive my mother's pregnancy. So my mom was part of a spiritual, I don't know how to call it. It's not a religion, but it's Santeria, but white magic. So basically they do crafts, a lot of different things. It's like a wish. They do white magic just to ensure that your wishes are fulfilled. And so then after I was born, my grandmother was like heavy into it, and I was always under her arm. She always took care of me. And for many years, I was the apprentice to my aunt, who used to read LaToya Jackson. She used to read a lot of like celebrities. And what an apprentice does is basically kind of like a surgical assistant does. It gives her the tools. And you're just there. Whenever she wants something, you just give them to them, And I think metaphysically it turned because it was a cluster of time where I was Christian, which is nothing wrong with that. But it allowed me to kind of really get to know myself spiritually, if that made sense. And I would say I started really dabbling more into the metaphysical science in 2006. And that's where I started learning about Reiki and prana, like a lot of different healing modalities and crystals and all that stuff outside of Santeria.
Can I show you that?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Fluorite Buddha, as you're saying that, as I hold her in our cup. Yeah.
Ooh.
When you said crystal, I had to show it.
That's gorgeous. So technically it was all my life, but professionally, I've been doing what I've been doing since 2009.
I will share with our audience that we're not just colleagues. Like, I hang out with you socially, and we've gone out to places in Tampa, and I've enjoyed going to a place like the Independent with you in Seminole Heights, and we get to hear some music from the 90s and 2000s. And I consider music such a healing modality, and hanging out with friends and listening to music and in a social environment is probably one of the most healing things we could do for ourselves.
Totally.
And in light of the pandemic and a lot of the social distancing rules that have been in effect in many parts of the world, Florida is not really one of them, but I've been kind of imposing my own social distancing. But I figured for our purposes, that's why I wanted to have you on the show today, because I wanted us to get into the ideas behind sound therapy, sound healing. I wanted to see if you could share with our audience your personal path pursuing this area for yourself, because you're a multifaceted individual with multiple talents spiritually. And as I said to your intro, so I wanted to ask, like, how did you first discover the benefits of sound healing, and what have you found after you got certified in it that you learned about it deeper that you didn't think you'd learn about before you got involved in it?
Well, I first learned about it, I would say, when I was learning first degree Reiki. I heard the sound bowl, which was the Himalayan bowl. This was before the crystal bowl. And that really got to me. I attended my first sound bath, I would say shortly after. And that was with Jessica, who is an amazing sound bowl player. And that was at a metaphysical shop that is no longer open, but it was in Wesley Chapel, called Gaia Spiritual Doorways. And when she played the bowls, it resonated with me so much. But what even resonated with me even more was why she started playing the crystal bowls. She was in a very bad skiing accident and she couldn't walk. And for a whole year, she was in a wheelchair. And doctors kept telling her that she will never walk again. Finally, long story short, somebody told her about sound healing and what sound can do to heal the body. So she started going to the sound sessions, and I would say within 6 months, if I remember correctly, she was able to walk with a walker. And then shortly after, like maybe about, I think she said it took about 2 years where she didn't need anything. And so she wanted to get certified in it and pay it forward. So, and then when I finally decided to be certified in sound healing, it was the science of it that made it so interesting. You know, I'm not a very I don't even know if there's a word for it, scientifical person, but, you know, but I get it, because when sound vibrates, especially like as an example, when you hear a song that resonates with you so much, it's actually producing healing work. A good song, the combination of tones, including the vocals, if vocals are involved, it's putting you into a zone. And then afterwards, it's like you forgot why you were pissed off or upset about something. It puts you into a beautiful zone. So it's the same thing with sound. Sound vibrates deep on a cellular level. When we are under stress or any kind of anxiety, our cells are kind of discombobulated. And when they're discombobulated, they're not communicating with each other properly to encourage healing. So when you play sound, it literally becomes whole again. And we saw videos that gave proof to that. So under a microscope, what they did was they say the most negative things, like I hate, fear, all that stuff. And we saw this video and the cells turned horrible.
I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. They look at the crystalline structures of the water with certain sound frequencies and words and meanings and ideas. And it shows certain symmetrical patterns to words that have very positive meaning, like love, together, whatever it is. The positive connotations can create symmetrical shapes versus I know what you're
and then, but in this case, without using positive words, they played sound. And when they were playing sound, it became whole again. It became symmetrical again. So I was like, this is why I was born into a family of musicians. Both sides of my family are into music. They play music, they sing, they do all that. And I personally can't play anything, you know, but no, I don't play not one instrument, but the bowls, I can play so well. But it made me understand why I chose my parents. You know, when I was in the ethers trying to select my parents, I was like, oh, they're both into music. This is perfect.
How did you get certified in the sound healing? Tell us about that and tell us about your journey with learning these instruments.
So I got certified in 2019, level 1, which basically teaches you the basics of sound, which was amazing. It was a 5-day training and it was like 9 hours a day, but it was incredible. The different people that I practiced on. And then I recently got my diploma in level 2.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So I literally consider myself a sonic shaman because now I can listen to spirit and spirit can tell me what combination of bowls or tuning forks or whatever it is to put together for a specific individual to promote that healing. You'd be surprised how much goes unprocessed.
I'll say this to you. So one of the perks of doing these interviews is I get the benefit from the healing that you're going to do for the audience today. And I'm really excited about us utilizing that. Mm-hmm. What particular bowls are you going to use for today?
Well, first and foremost, because we are in a full moon in Pisces, we just entered the fall equinox, and also we're approaching Mercury retrograde. The combination of bowls that I put together is to help you with the emotional shitstorm that's happening right now. So the reason why I call it an emotional shitstorm is because, just to summarize the energies, the combination of all three is basically all about, it's heightening the emotions to detox, not only on a physical level, but on the emotional, mental, spiritual, and soul levels. All those other levels have to detox whatever that does not serve our purpose within your path right now, whatever that's not in alignment with you. So there's that. And then there's people coming back from the past, unprocessed experiences coming back from the past. So it could be exes coming back. So be prepared. So it could be exes coming back from the past. It could be a scenario that you haven't properly processed or learned from. So it could be karmic coming back from the past. But what I always tell people is that it's actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because it's bringing awareness. It's allowing us to process it so we can move forward. And then, of course, with the retrograde, it's a time of release. Okay. Also, it's a time of reflection. The combination of bowls that I was guided to put together is note E, which is the solar plexus. Okay. That's note E. So the solar plexus is the mind. This is the mental chakra, not up here. This is the mind right here. So as an example, whenever you overthink about something, you feel it over here, the anxiety.
Just for our audience that's just listening to it, you're pointing towards your belly, your solar plexus.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my belly.
No worries.
It's just above the belly button. That's where the solar plexus is. Okay. And then the other bowl that I'm going to play is the C sharp. That is the earth star chakra. So this is the bowl that connects you to Mother Earth. It's very grounding. Okay. And then the other bowl that I'm going to play, and they're all sharps, is F sharp. Now, the F sharp is not just the heart chakra, it's the high heart chakra. That's the seat of the soul. It is also known as the thymus chakra. So it's a very powerful chakra. It really is. Okay. That's where a lot of intuitive insights comes through as well. Excellent. So there's going to be two bowls that I'm going to play that's going to be very dissonant. It's going to sound like woo, 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 woo. So what that's going to do is it's going to release a lot that no longer serves you on a vibrational level. Then I'm going to play two bowls that are very harmonizing. So it's going to make you smile, make you happy, bring you back into balance. And then I'll play one each so it can just, shortly balance each chakra. And I'll do that all within not too long, maybe about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What is there anything we need to do to get you to start? Like, what would be the best?
So what would be best, if you can, just grab some headphones, because listening to the sound healing with headphones works directly with the left and right brain hemisphere. So it directly targets the nervous system. But if you don't, it's just as powerful, because it's all intention, and you're still receiving the benefits of sound. But I want you to just lay back and relax. Just get comfortable, okay? And I'll start off with the meditation. All right. So what I want you to do is just go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to take a few deep, intuitive breaths. And whenever you breathe in, I want you to imagine breathing in white golden light. And I want you to imagine that golden light saturating your entire being, paying special attention to any areas of concern within your body, such as any aches or pains that you may have. And when you're ready, just exhale all of that out, along with any type of stress, any type of strife that you may be feeling in this day and time. And as you do that, any other sounds that you hear outside the sound of my sound bowls, I want you to allow those extra sounds, those excess sounds, to be part of your healing experience and to momentarily bring you into a deeper state of relaxation. Let's revisit a time when you felt pure love, pure unconditional love, whether you've given it or received it. Now it could be towards loved ones, a beloved pet, a place you've gone to, or maybe something you've witnessed. I want you to take this moment to reflect on how that feeling of pure love felt for you. And as you reflect on that feeling of pure love, I want you to associate either the color green, pink, or gold to that feeling of pure love. When you're ready, from your heart center, I want you to go ahead and project that chosen color out, saturating your entire room with it. And as you do that, I want you to now set your intention. I want you to intent what you're looking to accomplish during this sound session. And I want you to trust that it is already done and it is already so. So I want you to go ahead and take a few deep grounding breaths. And if you wish, I want you to take this moment to extend gratitude towards your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, the cells of your body that keeps you healthy and going strong, as well as any archangels and ascended masters you connect with for their divine wisdom, guidance, and awareness as you walk along your path of divinity. Peace and many blessings.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Millie, for doing that. That's amazing.
Bless. I'm glad we did this. And I say we because it's me and the bowls.
Excellent. Now, let me ask you something. When you go about doing that, and in reference to the different notes that you played, how long did it take for you to feel the resonating of it, the aspect of it where you were able to do so many things with the sound vibrations that you felt it firsthand? I know I've been to one of these sessions in the past, and I can tell you firsthand that when you're involved in this kind of stuff, it's amazing what it can do within the body to make you feel more at ease and comfortable. It
triggers a relaxation response immediately. So it's wonderful to help ease any anxieties or stress. It calms the body so that way the chi, the prana, can assist with the healing or facilitate the healing. And so sound is very powerful. And honestly, I can't tell you how I learned to play the bowls. It just became very natural. Listening to it. Getting my certification in sound therapy helped me understand it better, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell our audience where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I am under Milagros Wellness, Milagros as in Sam, Wellness, all one word, of course. You can find me on Facebook via Milagros Wellness Sanctuary. And my website is milagroswellness.com. And you can sign up for my email list because I am also a spiritual educator. So I do teach classes, and I do once a month new moon sound baths at Tribe Seminole Heights. A portion of the proceeds go to support the children in the arts program.
Excellent. Excellent. Where do you see yourself going next with all this? I mean, you're doing the sound therapy stuff, which is amazing, and all the other things you're doing for Milagros Wellness Sanctuary. Where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, honestly, all of this was what I like to call the good sideswipe, the unexpected sideswipe. So who knows? But I know it's going to be a lot more powerful. I am considered a sonic shaman, so for sure I'll be doing a lot more with sound. But I do see myself probably traveling, to help facilitate healing, whether it's in groups or individually. So, and teaching. I'm also a teacher, so there's so many people who are natural light workers that just need direction. So I think I also see myself doing more and more classes.
Let's share this for the audience. When you and I get on the phone to catch up with each other, it's like we have this spiritual connection that very few people in this world have, where we could just catch up with each other, read for each other, catch up with each other, maybe switch off healing modalities with each other, and
just drink and be silly. That's all.
We have that fun too. But I think for me, part of it is having someone like myself that has some spiritual component to themselves. It's so much fun and refreshing for someone like me to have you come on the show today, because for me, you've witnessed my journey from day one, at least professionally, and where we are now, several years later, we've both grown in our own way, and yet we're still real and authentic with one another.
Always.
If there's anything the pandemic taught me is keep those authentic people closest to you, because they're a precious commodity.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your gift and in terms of sound therapy, and just letting us know that, there's different healing modalities available out there, and that people in our audience should check these things out and explore them, especially if they're feeling like they have some anxiety, some mental health issues, or if they're just needing to relax after a long day. They should look into these type of things. And I can't stress that enough for our audience, how important it is to explore any healing modalities that exist. And sound therapy is one of the biggest ones I think they should look into.
Absolutely. And I have a circle of healing therapists that I refer people. So I do have a therapist that works on people that require sexual healing. So these are people who had sexual woundedness and shame, So there is a sexual therapist who's a healer that literally helps with that. And then I have someone who's a holistic dietitian who helps people, like in terms of the diet, what's appropriate for them. So there's all kinds of healers out there. You think about it, you name it, they're out there.
I appreciate it. You're also really great at Reiki too. I've done Reiki with you a few times in the past, and I can say that. And I appreciate everything that you're doing on your journey and all the knowledge you're sharing, not only with our audience today, but with your own clients and the public. And I thank you for being where you're at and doing what you're doing.
Likewise with you. Thank you so much for healing people, whether it's vibrationally or through your channelings as a mediumship, as a medium. So thank you for that. And thank you for spreading light and helping to raise the vibration of the collective. We need you too.
I just want to thank Millie for coming on the show today and sharing her sound bowl therapy methodology and just utilizing the ability of showing that this isn't just about being spiritual within yourself. I think what I'd like our audience to take away from this episode is that you can connect with others who are also light workers, people who are very in tune spiritually with themselves. And I feel like when you get people together, it's like taking a bunch of twigs and making a really thick stack of wood. You can't break it when you're all together on things. And I think when it comes to spirituality, it's the same thing. The more you can combine your resources with others and share knowledge and ideas and modalities and whatever it is, it really makes a difference in the lives of those involved. So I encourage each of you out there in the audience listening to this episode, if you're on the beginning of your spiritual path, in the middle of it, or further along, look out for one another. We need to look out for each other, be kind. We need to support each other. And we need to do so in a way where we can build our own understanding of the universe and ourselves in it and the meaning and purpose behind it. And I do consider sound healing so pivotal to what we need to do right now. So check out the sound healing modalities near you. Reach out to Millie. I'm going to have her information in our show notes. And if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to me directly at info@D socialpsychicradio.com. Stay positive, because when you're positive, anything's possible. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Social Psychic Radio Show. Don't forget to join us for another episode next time. If you enjoyed the show, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. You can also check us out on Facebook, and don't forget to visit the Social Psychic YouTube channel. Until next time, it's a big world out there. Keep an open mind, embrace your paradigms, and know that the universe is always yours to explore.